Hi there, I'm Susie, the traffic girl from Happy Traffic Comedy Driver Improvement School, www.happytraffic.com. Today I'm going to tell you a story. Young man gets a ticket for driving 6 miles over the speed limit. Never had a ticket before. Goes in and pays it the next day. The ticket hadn't been entered in by the police officer as of yet, and the clerk should have told him that and said, "Son, your ticket hasn't been entered yet. You might want to try again next week." But she didn't tell him that. She took his money and she gave him a receipt. He thought everything was okay and went on his merry way. 6 months later, he gets pulled over by a police officer, and the officer says, "Son, your license is suspended. Did you know that?" And he said, "No." "Well, I could put you in jail," he says, "but I'm just going to give you a ticket for driving on a suspended license." There's two types of tickets: driving on a suspended license with knowledge, or driving on a suspended license without knowledge. He didn't get the driving with suspended license without knowledge, which means the ticket that he did get was a traffic criminal offense and a mandatory court appearance. Immediately, he gets back into his car on a suspended license, this is the part that cracks me up, and drives back to the clerk of the court's office. If he had gotten pulled over again, he would have gone to jail. However, he did make it to the clerk's office, and he said to the lady, as he gives her his receipt, "Could you tell me why my license is suspended?" And she types away and says, "Oh my, this is our fault. I'm sorry, we forgot to input the data. I'm going to reverse the suspended license right now, and that'll be $25, please." The first lesson is, you must ask to speak to a supervisor. Without getting angry, speak to a supervisor. You do not need to be paying $25. That's just like admitting that you're guilty for something. Okay? This is their fault. They need to swallow the fee. Okay? That's that. Well, he paid it anyway. And then he shows up at court a month later for his, sorry about the nose thing, the nose itches, for his driving on a suspended license ticket. The judge says, "What happened, son?" He said, "Well, I paid my ticket the next day, and they didn't record it, and it got suspended." She said, "Well, there's a 10-day rule." I'm thinking, what's a 10-day rule? I've been teaching traffic school for 20 years. I've never heard of a 10-day rule. 10-day rule, son, you should have known better. She sentenced him to 12 hours of advanced driver improvement. She sentenced him to $600 fees, and she sentenced him to the points. She found him guilty. She wasn't feeling very compassionate that day, and you would expect her to, but you know what? The law is the law. You can never drive on a suspended license in the state of Florida, ever. So the moral of the story is, follow up, follow up, follow up. If you pay a ticket, make sure it's paid. If you've elected school, make sure the court acknowledges you've elected school. If you've hired a lawyer, make sure the lawyer registers your stuff in time. If you've completed school, make sure the court acknowledges that you've completed school. You could do this by going in, by calling them, or over the internet. The moral of the story is, follow up, follow up, follow up. And that's all for today. Have an awesome day. We'll see you on the road, and drive carefully.